says, same situation. He's not one to rest on his laurels, you know, when things don't go perfectly. He's turned around, produced Robotech The Shadow Chronicles, which was a big hit. And then after that, he released Wanted, which was a monster comic book hit last year. And now he's been signed on for Wanted 2. And of course, he has the history with the Robotech franchise, so he knows Robotech. And at the same time, we've got another production veteran who really doesn't need much of an introduction.
Whoa.
So, how many of you know who this guy is? Okay.
Who's that?
Okay, obviously, many of you know him from Spider-Man, but some of you may not be aware that he's pretty much sharpened his producer chops being the producer on Seabiscuit. And that film garnered 7 Academy Award nominations. So not only is he a very good actor, he's also proven a track record as being a producer on films.
Can you play the horse?
And the writers, the writing team that Robotech has amassed include Lawrence Kasdan, who's gotten 4 Academy Award nominations, and he's written some really big action movies, including what some people consider the best of the Star Wars and Indiana Jones films. And Alfred got Miles Miller, who have written what some people consider the best Spider-Man movie. And an interesting new addition to the writing team, we've got Tom Rob Smith. He is currently a New York Times bestseller. He's written a novel called Child 44, which is an interesting alternate reality international thriller. So obviously, you'll notice we've got really interesting ingredients being put together. We've got a big hit maker, we've got a pair of guys who know comic books, and we've got an experienced novelist working on drafts of the screenplay. So that's presently where we're at right now. Obviously, I know some of you wish that I had a trailer for you right now, but of course, obviously that would be very difficult for me to do when these gentlemen are still working on the script. And one new addition, one new deal that we added on top of the live action film deal is with live action films come live action merchandise. And we need merchandising on a scale for Robotech that we've never seen before. And of course, we're not going to kid ourselves. You know, with independent animated episodes, you know, that was something that Harmony Gold managed relatively well in the past, but now that we're going to go on an order of magnitude greater with this new licensing relationship with Warner Brothers, obviously we need an army of people who have a lot of experience on this. Obviously these people have worked on franchises such as Batman, The Dark Knight, and Harry Potter, so these guys really know what they're doing. So this is a new relationship that we're really looking forward to. And so I want to say thank you so very much for being here. Of course, I wish we had more time for you, and I know some of you are going to have more questions for Carl and me. So if we can't get to all of you, you can visit us at Toynami booth number 3229 to get the Robotech exclusives, or you can visit us at the Robotech X fan club at mezzanine booth MZ09, or just simply robotech.com. Now, any of you who want to get autographs or speak to Carl MACEK who don't have time to after the panel, he's actually going to be at the Robotech X fan booth tomorrow at noon. So write that down if you don't get a chance to meet him here today. Okay. Oh, thank you so very much. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, Carl, you had said you started your academic career going to a science track. Do you use any of that in your science fiction writing? Or where you get your inspiration for all these great machines?
Well, when I was in college, I was pretty much a science nerd, so I've maintained my interest in science all along. So I am constantly reading and researching and trying to find out as much as I can about current things and things that would be applicable to the kind of work that I do. So yes, I'm constantly reading.
Thank you.
Hello, my question is concerning the Robotech upcoming movie. I was wondering, since the retirement of the F-14, do they have a plan for an alternative model based off a current active aircraft?
I can't, obviously because nothing has been released about the future movie yet, I can't tell you what the design, any updated designs are going to be. I'll just use an example. What has happened in films in the past is that with Iron Man, it was originally written during the Vietnam War. And when it was originally released, Tony Stark was captured by the Viet Cong, and that's who he had to escape from with the Mark I Iron Suit. However, when they rewrote it recently, of course, it wouldn't make sense for him to be escaping from the Viet Cong. They had to update the storyline so that he was escaping from terrorists in Afghanistan. So at the same time right now, even though the F-14 is a really cool aircraft, by the time the Robotech live action film is released, of course, to a younger new generation of audiences, what is going to be the hot aircraft of the day? I mean, right now, even in the news, you hear about how the Pentagon is dealing with budgetary problems with the F-22, and they're moving on to the F-35. And so, already we've moved that much farther in the future from where Robotech was back then.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my question is for Carl. Carl, I just wondered what your role is in terms of maybe advising on the new live action project.
At this point in time, no one's really involved at all because they're not far enough along to have any of us come in. But I'm hoping, as we all are, that once everything is set up, that we'll all have a chance to help them however they want us to.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I just want to add that if anyone's earned respect, like, I guess to use a metaphor, like Stan Lee in the Marvel films, I think Carl has earned it for Robotech.
Okay, here's one. I know everyone right now is excited about the movie. Here's another one for you. How has this affected Shadow Rising? I would like, as a longtime fan, I'm excited about the movie. I'm really looking forward to it. But I want to find out what happens.
Well, we don't want another 20-year wait, like between Symphony of Light and Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles. I don't foresee it being that long because, man, it's going to be a really boring 20 years for me, too.
And then 2044 is not going to look so far away.
Yeah, exactly. The reality is, I'll just be very forthright about what comes up, is when we have a release of Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles, it's not a product just by itself. Right now, the DVD market is very competitive. It's very difficult for many DVD publishers to, recoup their investment. We're very fortunate Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles did. One of the ways that we bolster revenue to make everything work, to make the balance sheet work, is through the licensing. We have licensed product for Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles in toys and so on. But one of the, and this is just being very realistic, one of the things that comes up is when we have the announcement of the live action movie, and we have to be fair for all our manufacturers and licensees, is that we need to ensure that they're going to make the revenue back as well. Is that, okay, I can take a risk on Robotech: The Shadow Rising. And of course, when Robotech: The Shadow Rising was the only product out, that was the best shot they had. So I can take a risk on Robotech: The Shadow Rising and have the promise of a return that's this big, which is very promising. Or now that the live action movie has been announced and Warner Brothers has picked the rights up, or I can ride the wave of that merchandising and marketing wave when you have all the Warner Brothers consumer products people working on it, an army of people working on it. And when you ride that wave, you're going to have a return on your investment that's going to be this big instead. So it does test our patience. We have to work with other people's schedules because now we've got a larger community of people working on Robotech. So it's not just ourselves at Harmony Gold. Now it's Harmony Gold and Warner Brothers coordinating all their schedule. So it is we're going to be asking fans to, be waiting longer. But at the same time, once that payoff hits, I'm sure it's going to be very, very cool. And at the same time, we don't want to forget about the fans at all. That's why we're working very hard on getting new releases for other products in the meantime for classic Robotech,